Good morning. Just gonna make sure audio's working here. Yeah, it seems to be. Okay. You'll see I'm playing with some rebranding. We're gonna get away from the drunk trader stuff and make it seem a little bit more legit. Since at 9:30 in the morning I'm not usually drunk. And honestly I'm a bit quiet, so not loud and obnoxious as far as I know. Not unless I'm drunk. Anyway, so I'm just playing with some different rebranding stuff, so if it looks strange, that is why. You know what? Let me put disclaimer on for a second. And I think we can come off that. All right, so I won't take a trade for another 15 minutes anyway. Or 10 minutes, I'm sorry. Just part of my rule set. Just gonna throw the fib over here and this. Excuse me. All right, so we're basically just waiting on 9:45 to roll around. We're on a 2-minute chart as always. There's no predicting. We are literally just gonna play this till 12 o'clock, maybe to 12:30. The 9:44 candle, when it closes, that's when we can start taking the 2-minute candle. Will close at 9:46, and that's when we can start taking trades. All right, so we have another 5 or 6 minutes before we consider taking a trade. So, you know what? I'm going to make some coffee. All right, we're back. Let's see what the size of these candles are right now. 80 down to 20, so 60 points there. Here's the candle. Once this candle closes, we can officially take trades. Let's see, what are we? We're down 400 points. Decent. Almost 1.5% ish. Just for fun, let's go over to the daily. Let's look at some different levels that we might look at. This area in here could be interesting. As a matter of fact, here we'll stick it there. It's going to be somewhere in and around the halfway point, so it wouldn't be shocking to see us come down and retrace this before we ever have a big move up. Let's go back to my 2-minute. I mean, it's a lot of points down, but let's see where. Oh no, wait, hold on. Here we are. 727. Let's pull that out there. Yeah, something like that. Very doable. Let's see. If we do close above here, I do have to take this long. And that would be 53. We'd have to close above, pretty much above here. 53. So about 80 points. And of course, it did not give it to us. Not exactly shocking. So we're just going to look for that sweep, that engulfing candle. Nothing more than that. SPX is around 76.50. Excuse me. So you'll see on the new sort of YouTube chart here, I don't really need to see a lot, right? I'm not playing on much for in terms of levels and all that kind of stuff. I'm just, right now we finally put in our first low for the moment, but we don't really need a lot more other than just that for the moment. It's pretty simplistic stuff here. Um, if anything changes, then I expand the chart, but I'm really just looking for the candles themselves to be the place I jump in or get out. So I don't need all this. You know, it's unnecessary to have that much chart on there. You know, I'm just looking for the sweep. That's it. It may take us a while. This could just fall out and keep dumping, but and it probably will. But I'm not going to predict it. I'm not going to speculate. I'm just going to just wait. I want to see what I'm looking for. And in the early stages here, I don't care whether we are above or below the 20 EMA or any other time frame. We're just going to stick on the 2 minute. I back tested the hell out of this over the weekend. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some targets of 2 to 1s. Um, yeah, let me just go grab my coffee. Hold on a sec. All right. There's our new low. I mean, to be totally honest, even marking off the lows for my setup, it doesn't even matter. The 20 EMA also doesn't really matter. I find that towards closer to 12 o'clock, um, after your main sort of morning auction's been completed, then I can look at, all right, are we staying below that EMA, or are we chopping through it? Are we above it? Then it comes into play a little bit. But for the entire month of August so far, this could be just a complete blind um, experiment of 2 minute. It would had so far it's been really really solid. But we'll stick some little levels in here just for fun. Yeah, I think we're gonna go into. I was working with AI and talking with some folks that had seen the channel, love the simplicity of it all, and so we decided we're gonna go with something a little bit more process based instead of drunk trader. I'm just gonna run it up as like the quiet trade, because that's more about process than personality. Which, of course, um, I'm not here rage baiting and barking out prop firm uh, codes and all that sort of stuff. So, um, it's just a quieter experience. Sort of suits me. So I think that's probably where it'll finish out. But of course, in my haste to throw things together this morning, I accidentally called it the wrong thing, and so I have to wait 14 days before I can change it again. So it'll just look a little bit disheveled and all over the fucking place till then. So no biggie. All right, let's see if we want to give a little sweep of this. Let's see what the size of these candle. That one there is 83 and a half. So that's about 40, 42 ish. Next one here is 5 plus 25. That's about 25 points there. So just good to kind of keep an eye on that. Make sure we're going to trade the correct number of contracts for the risk. All right, let's see if we have a full minute left to go on this. We're going to want to see it above that 22-ish area. does. $30 points-ish. So we'll be looking at about 15 contracts. However, it's weakening. All right, that did not close above the halfway point, or our 55-60%ish, which would have expressed a little bit better better strength. But so no trade. So ideally we get a sweep. If we're going to keep coming down, I want to see a sweep of that. Otherwise it'll probably just run without us for a little bit. See if we get a close above this 30 area here. Nope. All right, so we're still not in a trade. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, so do your own trades and own research. But this is just how I trade. Yeah, there you go. There's a flush coming. But again, it does not satisfy any of my trading protocol to chase price action down here. All right. No, nothing yet. And let's see what this candle was. 97, 61, so about a 36-point candle. Gonna want to see it come below that 970 area if we're gonna have an opportunity at a short, since we swept that high of that previous candle there. But there's only 10 seconds left in the candle, so I don't think we'll do that. So let's see if we can maybe get a little push up here, sweep that previous red candle. Down 1.4%, about 420 points. So, I would imagine on the 1 minute we're probably, so to speak, right, respecting the 9 and 20 EMAs. Our trend, obviously, for the moment is down, but again, we need to see a setup. I'm sure we'll come and take these lows out here. But like I said, gotta see the setup. All right, so a little bit sideways here down in this area. Still waiting. Nothing to really report at the moment. All right, well, let's see if we push through that area there, that low. Just really quickly, I'm going to stick this on the disclaimer for a second. So, okay, we're back. Sorry, just had to do a little private accounting there. Make sure I'm on the right accounts and Excuse me. All right, we are officially just sitting there sideways. I don't know if anyone has a it's making any money this morning. He's trying to play direction. So, the worst thing that happens is it keeps you safe out of trades. No trade is a good trade. Hmm. Should we make this light gray instead? Probably. Just want to test something very briefly. Okay. All right, just wanted to test that it was working properly there. So I'm not taking a trade short, that's for sure. Not at the moment. But we made $3 on each count. Man, unusually slow this morning. We'll see. Hmm. Sideways we go. Let's see. Maybe we get range trading. I don't know. I mean, that's a 90-point range. It's not huge. But let's see what we want to do here. "22 minutes after 10, 23 minutes after 10. And of course, there are days that, price action just doesn't give you what you want. So that may be today. As far as so far, it's not really doing a whole lot of anything too exciting. I mean, it dropped out its ass quickly at the beginning and then sat sideways for the last 45 minutes. Hmm. Whew. I think if on this candle in the next 15 seconds or so, if we stayed below that 2900, you're probably looking for some downside. Probably come and take out those lows. Yeah, but it's not part of my setup, my protocol, so I'm not taking anything at the moment. Hmm. God, it really wants to chop around in here, doesn't it? Well, that's why speculating is just, it doesn't do anything for me. You know, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. It doesn't really matter. So, just gonna play my 2 minute and wait for it to happen. Hmm. All right, about 10 seconds left in this candle. Nothing to really say about it other than that there was 10 seconds left in the candle. All right, get a little push up here, taking out that short-term high. That's probably going to upset a few people. Hmm. All right, continuing with a little bit of strength there anyway. So you closed above that short-term high. Rather than just a wick, so has some significance. Doesn't mean it's going to keep going, but just means that we might get a little less of a range day today. For me, that's what it sort of signifies, that we're going to get some upside a little bit, even if it's just for a candle or two. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, man. Excuse me. Not a single engulfing candle yet, so. You can see us coming up into that 29,100 area. That could be a point of interest. Sort of a 50% retracement of the move down. Wouldn't be surprising. Somewhere around the 96, 29,096-ish area. All right, so there you go. Bang, right into the 50% retracement. So let's see what it wants to do here. Does it want to put on the brakes and come back down, or shoot back up, and who knows? We're at 10:37. And new 2-minute candle. Now we're down about 1%, 300 points ish. Let's see if we get a little sweep on this top. I'd be curious. Like that area there. And there you go. Pushing up through there. We did not wick the prior candle or sweep it, so I'm not looking for a long. So you're going to need to see a sweep of that previous green candle there for any kind of trade down, which it has not done. That is pretty much equal lows, right? Or equal highs right there. Yeah, there's no. Yep, did not. So that would be our new low here on the 2. And that's our new high. Very exciting stuff. It suggests it wants more downside, but unfortunately we didn't get a sweep of that. So that's a bit of a pain. It's too bad. That's a nice. That would have been. Well, it'd just be nice to get into something, but let's see. That's the feeling, wanting to get into something, you know. That's how you get into trouble. few more seconds left in this candle. Let's see whether we want to go up, sweep this, come back down, or whether we just want to presumably ride a 9 or 20 EMA in 1 minute, I would imagine. But let's hope we get something. Yeah. What are we there? 100. So we call that about 30 points if it was able to drop down there. But it's not dropping. So up we go. And then there you go. So good enough reason why you wait, that 2 minute, you'd be sweating balls right now. That 2 minute red with the relative equal highs there. I hope this doesn't just drop right now, because that's one of the only things that I don't like. Even if it swept the previous candle here, the fact that it went here and didn't take these out, to me that's just generating liquidity for later, and hopefully it'll do it now, ideally. So if this were to set up, I would probably not take this one. It's not probably. I wouldn't take this one. It's one of the few rules about this that if the wick that the candle that you're about to get into wicks either a short or doesn't, I should say, doesn't quite wick the short-term high or low, instead gives it what appears to be a double top, then I wouldn't take that. Which I understand is not what most people think of, but I don't trade like most people, so it's fine. Ideally, this candle holds for the next few seconds before it gets a sweep. There we go. And then let's see a little sweep and then maybe a push down. Something we could possibly get into. We'll come in here tight to see whether it's the third time now that 29.10. It's pushing down, but I can't take this. One, because it actually didn't sweep the previous candle; it just took it to its high, so that would be problematic. Those are equal highs. We do not take equal highs. Close, but just not enough. Gotta see the sweep. It's the critical element of this. It's literally the foundation of the trade. So if you don't get a sweep, you don't get the trade. I'm literally just sitting here with my chin in the palm of my hand and my eyes closed, waiting for the candle. That's how excited I am for this price action at the moment. Again, if I don't want to be taking this thing short right at the moment. I want those highs taken. Even at the cost of missing a trade, it's fine. Those highs are sus, to say the least. You know, yeah, they're at the right place in and around that 50% retracement, but just not. I need to see those things swept first. If they don't, that's fine. I can wait for the next trade. You know, here you're sweeping. You get, well, you didn't get your over 55, 60% of the wick candle anyway, so no worries. So, oh, here comes the wife. So, maybe feel a little noise. If there is, I'll just mute for a few minutes and Yeah, same thing kind of here. We could wick this and close up below, hard above this, but it's still a little fishy. Not that I don't think it's going to go up. It's just you know. Well, I mean, I guess I could take this one. Maybe I should. I don't love the relative equal lows here either at the 81 level, but let's see. And then if this thing finishes like a doji-ish candle, then again, I wouldn't want to be taking that. You see how it's kind of it's not pushing up. Yeah, just now it's getting held down again. And of course, it didn't do either. So look how those bodies are just fucking tiny, right? So there it is. There's where it came down, swept these little lows. 1, 2 candles that are pretty close there. I wouldn't be shocked to see it come and actually sweep here as well. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles that are all pretty much right at that 70 level. Maybe it comes down, taps in by the 20 there or something. But as you can see, we did not clear on that last red candle. We did not clear the that 50% plus level on the wick. So I'm not super thrilled with the price action at the moment. It's just, I think we'll probably wait to see, do we sweep some of this area here before either going up, or do we sweep, of course, above there? Those are the two areas I want to see. Because right now we're just trading in a range. So that is not what we want. And we're also hitting that 11 o'clock hour, finishing that 1 hour candle. Obviously the 1 hour, if we go back to 10, it's going to be bullish, right? So I suspect that the 1 hour, we may, within the next couple of minutes here, want to go up and tap that area. If we're going to keep coming down, we're going to want to probably go up and tap that. I could be wrong, but I think that's probably the most likely scenario. However, I might have to just, if this thing drops, I might have to take it. It is swept the top there. 97, 98. Now it's swept the bottom here. So if it doesn't turn here, we may want to look at that. So we're 100, so about 30 points here. We still have a minute to go. All right, it's staying down there on the 20. It's holding a little bit there. Let's see. Let's just see. We still have another 10 seconds or so left in this this candle. All right. So hopefully we get tagged in there. Hopefully we also see some action on the downside here. Okay, so I'm going to go stick here. That there. That's the risk. This is where we're looking for our reward. If we go in here, in and around that 36 and come back on it, then I'll get out of the trade. But we're finally in a trade. Yeah. I don't love those highs still sitting there. But you know, you take it when it comes. If it was going to take those highs, I would have hoped it took it prior to this, but you know, you never know. So now we're in the trade. We literally have nothing to do but just wait to see whether it plays out. I'm going to go here. That area there. Once if and when it hits there, then I'll if it hits there, then I'll bring my stop up to break even. I'm just gonna mute this for a second so that I can chit chat with my wife. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I'm gonna sit and open some mail while I wait for this trade to do something. Sit down, waiting for the trade to do its thing. I mean, this could take a while, or it could also it could not, of course, but this could mess around here for a little while. I mean, we're 11, 12. We never did go up and sweep the top. That's my only concern here. If we'd swept it, then I'd be super chill with this and not be worried. But because we didn't, there's always that chance that it goes up and sweeps, takes it. Well, let's see. That's a hell of a rejection candle. But will we have any follow through? Or for all I know, we could just sit and chop sideways here. Who knows? Who knows? I'd love to have seen that previous red candle, that rejection, actually finish below 50% of that the previous candle, but can't always get what we want, as the saying goes. Let's see if we can get that 1-to-1 and at least make this a no risk trade. Again, the lack of follow through here this morning is just. Ugh. All right, what do we have there? The 42 area. I want to see like a strong push through there if we're gonna keep really make a push down. Otherwise, this could be ugly and choppy. Hold on a second. The sliding door. All right, hold on. I just have to I have to pause this for a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, the maintenance guy was in taking a peek. Let me just close the door. And of course, this is the price action I did not want to see. Um, just I wanted to see some follow through, especially after that rejection there. Now that it's coming back, it's not. I don't love that at all. But we're in the trade, so you gotta let it play out. Given the time frame, this could be a slow process. Okay, so you got the sweep there. I'll bring my stop to break even. Um, I don't love that sweep. It just wicked it and then immediately shot right back up. I mean, that's not great price action. But at worst, you get stopped out for a break even trade, and we'll just regroup and wait for the next one. But yeah, I'm not loving this buy up right here. I think we're gonna get stopped out, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is I just put my stop back up there and let it go, but I think I'll I'll just take this and let it be what it is. All right, I think we're getting a little stoppy stop here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. We made the 1-to-1 there, but it did not give us our 2-to-1, which I was looking for. And now, of course, this price action is. I mean, I think we are gonna go up and take that at some point. Um, this price action sucks, to be honest with you. I don't love it. Just not the follow through that we want to see. Even just getting to the 1-to-1, was challenging. And as soon as it wicked that 1-to-1, so let's see. Do we get another shot here somewhere? I don't know. So I'm going to call this a break-even trade. BE for break-even. Okay. Yeah. You see how it's just the wicks right up there, and then let's see if we get follow through on this one or whether it turns down. And just there's probably not a lot of participation in the market right at the moment. I haven't looked at the volume numbers, but it just that looks like summertime. Fast moving. Just somebody blows it up there. Big entry. So let's see. But maybe we'll get some action here finally. Just gonna move this out of the way. But it was the right call. Look at that. It's the right call to just take that break even. I mean, the right call would have been to do a 1-to-1, but that's not what we're playing. So just let it be what it is. Obviously, we're going to go up and take those highs, but we don't. I'm not gonna front run this. It's just not part of my setup. The reason I'm going for 2-to-1 and I've been doing 1-to-1s of late is it's actually just a psychological stressor. When you're in a trade and you want to be out of that trade. But when I back tested the entire month, the last month, it told me that doing the 2-to-1 was a much better risk to reward scenario. It was a successful 1-to-1 for much of the month, but the real magic in terms of the numbers and the risk units that I was positive was when I went to a 2-to-1, and I tested whether if I took half off at 1-to-1, all of it off at 1-to-1, I waited for the 2-to-1, but then brought my stop up. If I just did 2-to-1 and left my stop where it was originally. That was actually the best risk unit positive for the month, but because these are still props at the moment, these ones that I'm trading today, you want to make progress and not have it go up almost to 2 points and then come back on you and take you out for a full stop, because that would mean you'd be down almost 3 points. So doing the cutting it at break even once it goes to the 1-to-1 is actually the smartest move, and it was within 2 risk units for the entire month, compared with the one where I just left the stop at the original place there. So, like for instance, right now, it went to 1-to-1 and came back, took me out at break even. So I'm technically down or off the highs of my drawdown by 1 risk unit. But had I left it where it originally was, I'd be approaching being down 2 risk units. So, um, I size with that in mind. And I make no predictions as to whether this is going to continue to go up once it sweeps here, or whether it sweeps and comes back down. I have no idea, and that's not how I'm going to play it either. I just simply play the, at least up till 12 o'clock, just play what comes. Just wait for the sweep candles. Woo! Look at that beast. Because everybody had the stops. That's what happens. You get that squeeze. Everybody had their stops right above there, and it's right on up. Yeah, not surprising. So, that was not entirely unexpected. I think we talked about that as before we were in the trade. We talked about it during the trade, that we were worried about those relative equal highs there. So now they've been swept, or just simply taken, and maybe we go higher. Maybe we don't. So now gives us hopefully a little bit more clarity in terms of which direction, or at least when the next engulfing 2-minute candle there happens. We can take a play. If it's to the downside, that makes sense. If it's to the upside, it also makes perfect sense. So totally happy to get into another trade when it comes, regardless of what direction it gives us. Hmm. All right, so we got a little minor tap through there. Just technically makes that our top now. In each candle, we can just keep pushing it up till we reach somewhere where we turn back down. Let's see, we're down 250-ish points. About what, 0.876%. We only had that one sweep all day. That's amazing. Normally, by this time you'd have 4 or 5, at least 3 anyway. So, not, maybe the market's a little tentative or something. Fuck, who knows? We have like what, PCE and GDP on Wednesday, so it is possible that Monday, Tuesday could be, not the greatest price action. It does happen. I think if we get into the 160s here, that could push it up pretty quickly. Either reverse or it's gonna push quickly up through into the 200s there for sure. So the thinly traded area on that opening 1 minute candle on the way down. So, if we get into that area, that it might go quickly. Yeah, keep pushing up. $11.40. Yeah. So here we go. Here's where I think it probably either going to turn right on a dime here, or it's going to push up, I would think, pretty quickly into and probably well into the maybe 220s. And who knows? Maybe we just go take the top and head higher. You never know. Still waiting. All right, well, here we are. 11:44 and change. Did we get a pump higher here or what? Okay, there's the trade. We'll leave our little 203 there. We're going to want to see that going into. Just going to take one piece off there. I think my sizing was a hair too big. Okay, so that's about 1 to 1 right there. Let's see what it wants to do. All right, so we've got the 1 to 1 there. We'll bring that to there and hope that we continue on up. Is today the day that it goes to 1 to 1 and whatever to 2 to 1? That could be, unfortunately, just the way the day shapes up. Yeah, look at this. Yep. All right, that's 2 break evens. Not totally surprising, to be honest. I mean, one, because of just the price action today, but also um, look how far we are away from that 20. It may want to come back here and sort of settle in here before it goes for another push higher, if it's going to make a push higher. Or right into that 200 area that I was looking at. So, this is part of it, right? You have your strategy, you stick to it. Ideally, if I'd been trading the way I did last week, before I'd back tested all this over the weekend, I would have been trading 1-to-1 and be up 2 risk units, and that'd be like, ooh, good, that's great. But we're not, or I'm not, and that's okay too. You know, 2 break evens is fine. I haven't lost any money today. As a matter of fact, I made $20 on each account so far. Nothing to get excited about. But um, yeah, I mean it's just how this is played, right? And at some point it will give me my 2-to-1 and it'll be worthwhile. And it might not be today, maybe or maybe even tomorrow. Maybe I have to wait till Thursday to see the 2-to-1s really start playing out. You never know. I think we got Fed Chair Warsh or whatever. He's going to be speaking later in the week as well. So we'll see whether the price action's a little wonky this week or not. Sorry, I had to tuck behind the lettering there. Maybe I'll reduce the size of the lettering at some point. I think we can do that here easily enough. Just a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked to see us start weakening a little bit here. But it also could just chop a little bit here. We gotta move up. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see us hang out in this area for a bit. We also, in the next 6 minutes, we have the hourly closing on that 12 o'clock hourly close. Okay, we have officially engulfing there. Just at the last minute, it kind of ran it, and I don't love that. However, you know what? I'll take this as a short, see where we can get to. I unfortunately was in just a couple, like a second or two too early. If it comes to here, I go to break even. Okay, so I'm going to bring that to break even, which would be right there. If I get the break even stop out, it'll only lose just a few bucks there, so it's not an end of the world. See whether the 20 here is in play at all, whether it wants to hold this up. Yeah, it's looking like it might want to be in play there. Might just be the kind of day it is, right? Where you're not getting the follow through. I mean, look at this buy up here, right off that 20. So this might be a lesson learned today that I should be taking one-to-ones for maybe today and tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So yet again, another break-even trade. Eesh. Pain in the ass today. Yeah, that's too bad. I had hopes for that one. We got right down there. And then, of course, it'll probably turn around and take it for me after stopping me out almost to the dime. You know, but it is what it is. Let's see what. We'll wait a few more candles. You never know. You never know. We're 12 o'clock now, so here's what my my switch is. It's not to switch to the 1 to 1. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just accept that maybe today and tomorrow we could get this kind of action, the choppiness. It's too bad, you know. It's nice when you can just clear money off the table. However, over the over a period of time, over the week, the 2 to 1 will be better. It just will be. Um, Now that it's 12 o'clock, I'll trade one more trade essentially, and it will have to be, now that we're above the 20, it'll have to be a long. If we get a trade that goes below the 20, then I want to see it. I want to see, it's going to have to come well below the 20, and then I'll get into something. I cannot take a short above the 20, and I can't take a long below the 20. So that's my rule. All right. Actually, I need to double check that. I think I thought about that yesterday, and then I don't know if I back tested that exact thing, or was it just it looked that way. Hmm. Let's see if we get another tap on that 20. I'm expecting some downside here. I don't know whether we'll go up and sweep that 200s area there. I feel like we this might sort of be their topping area for the day. But you never know. You never know. You know, I'm supposed to take, if I'm taking a trade, I should be taking it long. But let's see what it wants to give us. About 15 seconds left in this candle. Let's see if it wants to go up and give a little oomph up past that 182-ish level there. I mean, no, didn't do it. Okay, that's fine. I mean, there's an engulfing. But like I said, after 12 o'clock, I can't be doing it. It needs to be it needs to be on the upside of this because we're on the high side of the 20. So maybe I would have thought about that if it had closed through the 20, but even then, it has to be on that one side. So basically, the next trade, if it comes back and starts giving us price action underneath the 20, I'll just look for a short that once it's successfully down under here and showing us that it's going to stay under there, you know. Otherwise, I basically just want to. I'm looking for a long here essentially. And it could take some time to work this out. You may want to come down, take out this low still. You have a bear flag showing here. So you never know what this is going to do. And have to do something in the next 15 seconds, 10 seconds. I don't see it happening. Hmm. And the wait continues. Yeah, you got a strong push up there. No wicking, obviously. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see whether we get up into that 220 or not. Maybe, maybe up to the 20 there. Probably not, but 225, 226, somewhere in that range. I'd like to see whether we get there. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. It doesn't matter. I'm just purely curiosity. One of those things when you have nothing to do but stare at the screen, you start making up stories, make hypotheses. Oh, this might be what. Here's where it's gonna go. And half the time you might be right, half the time you're not. Most of the time you're probably not. I'm not. So again, just pure bullshit. Don't you do you, as they say. All right, so now all the people that were going short here getting a little squeeze out. Do we get a squeeze out? We're 76.69 on the SPX, taking back a lot of the losses of the day. So, if we look at the trades that we made today, or I made today, the interesting thing is that of the three choices of the either just take 1-to-1, take partials off at 1-to-1 and then partials at 2-to-1 versus wait for the 2-to-1. If you hit the 1-to-1 and it comes back on you to break even, then you take the break even, and then the third option of holding. The third option is definitely not the way to go today. I'd be down three risk units in actual value, but then I'd be 4 risk units off of my high drawdown. So just things to keep in mind for myself, really. All right, we've got a little bit of a sweep there, not on the 2-minute, but on the hourly candle. So that's a hourly sweep. I'd like to see this hold up just a little bit more, maybe take a little bit more up there. So we're coming up on 12:20. All right, and there's that 220 area I was looking at. Let's see if we pop up just a little higher than 225, I want to say. Somewhere in there, maybe two higher, 220s, right? Anywhere here, we could see a bit of a turnaround. Possible. Not guaranteed, just possible. Hmm. All right, I have another 5 minutes to make a trade. 12:30 is going to be my cutoff, pretty much for the whole week going forward. So it's not looking like I'm going to see anything really eventful happen in the next 3 candles here, but you never know. Maybe we get something amazing. Maybe. But we're above the 20, so it does suggest, a long trade versus a short. Doesn't mean it can't come back down underneath 20, but I just don't see it happening in the next couple of candles here. But we'll wait it out. We'll wait it out and see. We didn't. I'm down $18 on each of the accounts, so basically break even. So I'm not exactly. It's not. It's too bad that we didn't do the 1-to-1 today, but at the same time, I back tested already, so I know that I want the 2-to-1, and we'll just wait for another day to get it. So not a bad day, staying out of trouble. Didn't lose any money other than our $18. So don't hate today. I can live with today. Come back tomorrow and we'll shoot for some 2-to-1s. And all you need is a couple of those, and boom, you're up, making stacks. We have not wicked that. Let's see. You could trade this all day long. I just, I'm purposefully finding and fine tuning and finding the strategy that works that I can get off at noonish, 12:30, because you don't get into trading so that it takes up your whole day. You get into trading so that you can execute for a very short period of time, make some money, get the fuck up, go do something else. Sitting and trading all day is a recipe to just get absolutely hammered by the market. So I've done it for too many years. I know that. I know that's true. So I give myself one trade after 12 o'clock, and that's it. I'm out. That's my. That's just how I roll, as they say. All right, so we're coming up. We're almost in the last 2 minutes. So there definitely is not a trade to be had for me for today. Okay, because even if I get a sweep or a sweep of some sort, I would have to enter at 12:30, and that's past my time frame. So it has to be before 12:30. So I'm gonna call it done here, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Be well.